Apparently, you can trace a drawing with a plastic bag. You need something with a pocket, as I said, a plastic bag, so that you can put your reference inside it. I have seen a lot of people do this. I have never done it, so this is my first time trying it. We're gonna try it together. I'm using this packaging of my watercolor set as reference for my drawings. I have trouble doing buildings, drawing buildings. I cannot with the symmetry. I never get it right, so I'm gonna trace this one, and I'm gonna put it. This is not flat, obviously, because it's where my watercolor set fits. So it's not flat, but I'm gonna put it inside the plastic bag and I'm gonna press it down to make it nice and flat. It still wasn't flat, and I think a flatter reference is better because when I started tracing it, it was all wobbly because there's nothing inside this packaging. It's empty, but it's still, because it's protruded, it's not flat. It was wobbly when I was tracing over it, and the plastic kept moving. So I think if you use a reference, a flatter reference would be better, and it would also be better if you secure it with tape or something inside your plastic bag so that it doesn't move around and ruin your tracing the drawing. I'm not going to do all the details. I'm going to do just a bit of boundaries and the windows, just a general idea of that drawing. So let me do this quickly and then I'll get back to you for the next step. Okay, now that I am done tracing, I'm gonna carefully pull the reference out of the plastic bag and try not to touch the drawing, the tracing. And I'm gonna get my watercolor paper. This is a small piece of paper from, I cut it into pieces, and I'm gonna spray it with water. We need the paper to be damp and not wet. I'm gonna spread the water around on the whole paper using a big brush, a watercolor brush, and then I'm gonna take my watercolor sponge and absorb some of the water. As I said, we need the paper to be damp and not wet. And then I'm gonna carefully put the reference, the tracing, the drawing facing down the paper and press it, and right off the bat a lot of blooming on the bottom of the drawing, and I think that's because I put a lot more water there and I should have absorbed it more. There was no blooming on the upper side at the top of the drawing, but I think, look at the result. I think it's pretty good. It's just the whole building is there, and I have never been able to draw buildings because I cannot get the symmetry right. So this is a big win for me. And as for this plastic, I think you can wash it and keep it and use it next time for another drawing and not waste it. And the paper is damp, so I'm gonna have to put it in the sun. It's really hot, so it's gonna take like 1 minute. Look at this drawing. It's so beautiful. It looks like it's complete. I'm really excited for it because I have never been able to draw such a good building, and I'm really happy with it. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it in the sun to dry for 1 minute. It just flew off into the flowers and wanted to stay there. I mean, who doesn't want to sit in the flowers? Anyways, we're back inside, and now I'm gonna do a boundary with my black pointer. This pointer is almost finished, so it's not as intense, and I'm gonna go over the lines of this trace of this drawing quickly, and I'm also going to add some details like bricks and some missing details that were gone when the watercolor, not the watercolor, the marker bloomed. So I'm gonna make them and some bricks, and then I'll get back to you for the next step. Now that I have a guide of a black boundary on my building, I am going to use my watercolors. I sprayed them, which I should have done in the beginning to give them time to activate. But anyways, I'm using my watercolors to color in the building, and we already have like a red, the whole building is red because of the red marker I used. So the colors are not going to be the same. I have my reference in front of me. You can see it in the frame. I'm using that, and I am doing the building in the building colors like yellow, ochre, and I'm gonna do the shadows with blue and gray, just like the reference, but it's not obviously going to be the same thing. I'm gonna use some browns and oranges. I'm gonna make the bricks in a brick color, like reddish oranges brown color. I don't know how to match colors exactly. I'm not an expert. I just like to do these fun experiments and things with watercolors and other mediums. Anyways, I'm gonna color it in with watercolor. One thing I want to say here, there are two things that I learned from this experiment. First is to get a reference that is flatter and not wobbly like mine, and to secure it in place so that you do not ruin your tracing, because if it moves around, if the plastic keeps moving around, your tracing, your drawing won't be good. It will be like all over the place. Second thing I learned is to not use a red marker unless you are making something red. So a brown or gray marker would be better, I think, for tracing and then putting it on paper. The lighter the marker, the better. I think you will have your colors after you color it in. So I don't know, try different things and see what you like the best. Maybe you like red better, I don't know, or blue or gray, whatever. So try different things. It's a lot of fun trying new things. At least for me, it's a lot of fun, which is why I do it. And I had a lot of fun doing this, and I'm actually really proud of myself, although I didn't draw it myself, but I'm proud of myself for doing this. I hope you had fun watching this. I had a lot of fun, and I will come back with another video. Till then, take care.